Hello everyone, long time no see. Today I'm going to be doing a review of these Derwent color pencils, the drawing set. That's 24 colors. I have been wanting to try these for such a long time, and the reason for that is just like the color palette itself is like nature inspired. I just heard really good things about this brand and how creamy and opaque the colored pencils are, so I'm really excited to try them. So I'm going to be just doing some swatching and then making like a very small drawing with them to test out some of the layering of the colored pencils. So yeah, thank you for joining in and watching my video.
So already opening up the box right here. It's a nice skin box, good quality. See all these lovely colors. I'm just going to do a very quick sketchbook flip through. I hope you like some of my art here. So right away, I see that the pencil itself is pretty heavy. It's a hefty pencil, which is not a bad thing at all. It kind of tells me that the creators put a lot of thought into the quality of the pencil itself. I'm assuming if I were to drop these pencils, it would not, the lead itself would not break inside of it. Um, and just the pigment itself goes on pretty nice and creamy onto the paper. I'm just using a regular old thin moleskin sketchbook here. The paper isn't anything special. It's smooth. It's pretty thin, and really only good for things like colored pencils, graphite, and maybe pen. Um, but yeah, I am really loving all of these colors. Um, they just are so desaturated, but in like a wonderful way. Kind of remind me of like an autumnal palette. Uh, I think these would be very lovely for landscapes, which is what they're intended for. But also portraits. If you look on the right side of the screen, you see some portraits I did some time ago using the Colorase pencils as well as just regular Prismacolor set that I have from a few years ago. And I think that the colors in this Derwent set definitely can line up to these little portraits, and I think doing some portraits with these colors specifically could be really fun. The desaturated grays that I see will be really nice to play with as like undertones for skin. Um, another thing I noticed about these colors is that they include a lot of grays. Like, there is a greenish gray, and I don't see that often in different palettes and sets. And the reason I care about having cooler grays in a variety rather than just like usually palettes will have a regular neutral gray or maybe a blue gray, but having a green gray and a warm gray is really nice. It's with doing landscapes, particularly if I'm trying to draw stone or rocks and pebbles, because in sunlight they tend to reflect different versions of grays. So now here I'm just doing a little sketch of a bird. Yeah, I'm gonna just test out how the pigment of these pencils layer. So initially I kind of just start out by, drawing the outline of the bird with some yellow, and then I'm going over it for the tail and the wing feathers with some of that muted green. And as I'm layering, I'm recognizing that I don't need to press too hard with these pencils. They're very soft and like allow pigment to flow very easily from the pencil itself, which I really like because I feel like one of the reasons I don't use color pencils very often is because you have to press really, really hard at a certain point. Like you end up adding different amounts of pressure, and that can be kind of hard on the wrist after a while. And when you want some good opacity, you have to press pretty hard. And doing that for a while is just, it's not sustainable for me. And that's why usually I'm someone that likes to paint and then maybe go over with color pencils. But these pencils just, they're so soft, they kind of just melt onto the paper. And I don't have to press super duper hard except for like at the end when I'm adding like those finishing layers, like I'm doing now with this with the blue, and eventually later I'm gonna add some orange too. Now, one of the unfortunate disadvantages of having a pencil that puts down the pigment so easily is that they kind of give out in terms of how much you can actually layer on top because there's already so much of the pigment on the page. Um, and then that's fine. You can still use like the whites and grays to blend a little bit some of the colors, but um, yeah, you do have to be a bit more picky about what colors you use in a layer because you can probably get up to like 3 layers and then you won't really be able to put any more pigment on the page. But yeah, that's about it. That's my review of these pencils. I'd highly recommend them. If you enjoy colored pencils, this is a very good investment to make